A great Monday morning. It is a wet Monday morning in the city of Brownsville, and they weren't joking when they said that it was going to be raining these next days, and it doesn't seem like it's wanting to stop.
No.
Uh, it's crazy, but it's like the people of Brownsville. I don't know if it's just because we see it, but like people can't drive when it rains. I don't know if you saw last night. I think there was like several accidents. I posted several accidents that happened here in the city of Brownsville. I think there was a fatality. Someone passed away in one of the traffic accidents that happened. But they were all over the place, and it's just como que la gente se atonta, can't drive.
Well, I think there's just it's a different type of culture down here that you drive to other cities, and when you're going out of town, and there's a big difference of the driving skills, and unfortunately, when it's dry, they struggle to drive, or we have
Yeah, sí.
accidents. Can you imagine now, wet road?
No, me olvídate.
It's even worse.
It
But
doesn't
be
work.
careful. Everybody needs to be careful right now because it's um it's scary.
Yeah, one of the things that I try to do is, when it's like this, I try to spend the least amount of time I can on the road. Just
I totally agree. If you don't have to be out in the streets, don't be out in the streets, guys.
stay home
Hmm.
and stay home, drive safe. And when you do have to be on the road, drive safe and, watch out for everyone around you. It's crazy. Those accidents are every day, dry or wet. Yeah, but it just seems like they are more horrible.
Prone.
Yeah, when it rains. On the expressway, it was crazy. I was driving down the expressway this morning, and everyone was going like 30, 40 miles an hour. And I'm going like, what the hell? Is there an accident? No, just people can't drive when it rains. There's supposed to be a flood watch in this area. So it's people just be safe, be careful. Salió de la nada todo eso. Scary driving an electric car in this way. My electric car is okay. I was actually talking to my cuñado this morning because my sister got a Tesla as well. And he tells me the same thing. He goes, "Nombre," he goes, "She loves the Tesla." And I said, "Yeah, I told you. Uh, it's an amazing vehicle. I enjoy it, and hopefully, I'll be able to trade it in next year and get me a newer Tesla. It's so amazing. I'm not even joking. It's crazy. I like them, and I told them, and I've told everybody else. Once you drive a Tesla, you're not going to want to drive anything else. Alex, buenos días, papi. Uh, it has been an eventful weekend, actually. It started off on Saturday morning. We did have a candidate forum for BISD, and Kathy participated, I participated, and a couple other folks were there. But what was your take on the forum, Kathy?
You know, I'm going to be very honest that I was surprised to see some of the candidates reading from a document, and I believe, you know, at this point, if you know the purpose of why you want to serve and why you want your community to elect you, by that point, when you're already talking in a forum or in a debate, you should have your information already up here. If you have to read a document because you just don't comprehend the purpose of what you're going to be serving on the board and what you're going to be doing for the community, then what does that, I mean, that should tell you right off the bat that these people are not ready and prepared to really serve you. I believe that as candidates, we should do our research. We should understand and comprehend exactly what our purpose is going to be and what our vision or mission is that we have in mind. And at the same time, is how are we going to better the system that has been falling apart? Let's be real to the community. The system is been hurting with financial expenditures that are not necessary, more students in a classroom, which back then it used to be 21 and they were struggling because they were putting them 25 students in a classroom. Now they're up to 35 students in a classroom. The teachers are just being burdened left and right. And you know what? The current board right now, I'm going to tell you, uh, they don't have it together. And as a citizen, I'm telling you, as a citizen, as a former board member, we're not we're not heading in the right direction. We're not for closing schools. I mean, in Erasmo, you should know we've closed schools in the area where there's a lot of need,
Yeah,
right?
and a lot of children.
And a lot of children. So when you put more than 20 students, 21 students, and this is the difference between public school and the smaller school system, like your private schools. Your private schools always have what? 20 max in a classroom, 15.
Menos, sí.
So the teachers are able to connect and engage with the students because they don't have so many students to have to slow down, or because they have certain challenges. Now remember, your public school system accepts every child, regardless of their status, regardless of their challenges. And unfortunately, it is not what it used to be. BISD has deteriorated, and financially right now, if we don't pay attention to what's going on, which I know for a fact because it's been discussed, they want to pass a $456 million bond, and this is not
Madness.
out there. This is not being talked like it should be in conversations with uh, business people and with property owners and with everybody that has something to do or has to pay property taxes, because the burden is going to continue to be on us, the parents, the citizens, the taxpayers. So if you guys, the citizens, or if we, because we're all in this together, if we don't pay attention to who we elect and who we truly want to represent us on that board, and that's the reason why I decided to run at the last minute. It wasn't something that I really had thought of months before, so I could be ready and campaigning. I came in at the last end, which is giving me only 60 days, 60 days to connect and engage with the community and put my name out there. I want to represent each and every one of you because we need good representation.
Well,
The
let-
$456 million bond, and Erasmo can touch on it, because we have a debt. The district has a debt, and I believe it's like about 13 million left to pay off the debt. But now these people that are there on the board, okay, and it's not all of them because the majority are only five, right? So these five people have discussed with the superintendent about bringing a $456 million bond because they want to repair schools, because they want to do this, they want to do that. If they haven't done it right now and they don't have a plan in place, what makes you think that those $456 million, when you guys go up to vote and approve it? Now, mind you, what bothers me is that they'll word it, Erasmo, they'll put in there a certain word that throws you off, and you end up voting for it not knowing what it really meant,
exactamente.
because that's what they've done before.
Well, let me say, I agree with you 100%. I was amazed that candidates were reading off a piece of paper, and it reminded me of esta Prisi, when she was campaigning, and she'd have the same little paper and then just read from it, and then go to the next forum and read from the same paper, and go to the next one and read from the same paper. And I agree. Look, guys, if at this point in time you can't speak and answer questions without having sheet notes, without having a script that is probably written by whoever is wanting you to get on the board, it was embarrassing. I think Kati's candidate was reading from a piece of paper. uh, my candidate, the one that's being funded by all these vendors, reading from a paper. I mean, my goodness gracious, can't you just speak and let us know what your platform is, what you plan to do, what you hope to do, instead of having talking points that were probably already prepared for you. I mean, it just makes no sense. One of the things that, y aún así, Kati, one of the things that you received it, I received it. We received the questions, guys. We received the questions beforehand, and we're asked to submit submit the answers before, which is fine. I was okay with it, but in the heat of the moment, is the I mean, and I looked at the questions and we're like, oh, the same ones. It's not a big deal. But I answered my questions just on what I know and what I want to do, and what I hope that this next board that comes in November, you know, uh, puts into fruition. But there were no answers out there. The answers that these people were giving, Kathy, was really like lame. And I would hope that people from the district don't buy this crap, because at the end of the day, these individuals are going to sit in front of you and tell you what you want to hear. And going back into Hector, with all with all due respect, Hector, everything that I said I was going to do in regards to being transparent, in regards to being accessible, I kept my promises as a candidate, and I know Kathy has kept her promises that she's made the candidate, because that's the difference between someone that is being funded by God knows who, than from anything else. One of the things that concerned me was a friend of mine, a former friend of mine, had one of my opponent's signs up at her house, and God bless her, and I sent her a message because she was a friend at a time. I sent her a message and I said, "Why would you go out there and support El Farley when Farley's being given money by every single vendor out there?" And again, look, guys, something that Kati mentioned, and I agree with. We have other things to do. We have other things to do. I think we actually have, our businesses to run. We have our family that's very close knit, and we've got our extracurricular activities that we do, that we enjoy as well. But these individuals, even your opponent, Kati, I heard that Baltasar Salazar is going out there and putting money into, at Fiesta Graphics, paying for the signs, for Nelda Farley and Nerza Farley and Minerva Peña. And I'm going like, guys, don't you see this? We're falling into the same trap over and over again, because you're not going to have a candidate out there that's going to go out there and throw punches against the system. You've got candidates that are running right now for BISD who are going to be eaten up by the system, because they'll be indebted, not to you, not to the community, not to your children. They're going to be indebted to the people that put money into their campaign. And it's unfortunate, guys. It's unfortunate. uh, they asked what was the number one issue that you think BISD suffering, and all those candidates out there, got they went out there like, well, academics and all this, and teacher salary. They're saying what people wanted to hear. The root of the matter is that we're spending money on vendors. We're giving money to contracts. We're out there spending money on consultants, on stuff that we shouldn't be spending money on. This is your money. So at the end of the day, to all the teachers, to all the individuals out there that are always bitching about, well, I don't get a raise, I don't get a raise. Stop voting for the same crap. It's I mean, the definition of insanity is going out there and doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. It's not going to happen. They're not going to come into fruition. They're not going to help. They're not going to put more money in your pocket. It's impossible. And I had a conversation, Kathy, with an administrator at BISD this weekend, and I said, "I'm sorry, but all this crap about we're going to build you a CTE building is a lie. We are $26 million in the hole. We have no money. The current buildings that we have are in disarray. They're messed up. They're screwed up. The air conditioning system doesn't work. And you really think that they're going to go out there and build you a CTE center? It's not going to happen. And that is why what Kathy just mentioned right now, that is why they want to go out there and go request a bond, a 450 some $1 million bond that ultimately you're going to have to pay for. And that's fine. I agree that sometimes, we all have to pitch in. Está bien. Pero have these individuals been good stewards of your money? That's the question, because the same tactics that were used to sell the community the zoo, which is not going to be a zoo. It's going to be a hotel and shopping center and parking garage. The same tactics that were used for the Performing Arts Center. That's a fact. I was there at the meeting as a citizen, not as a board member. I was there as a citizen, and they used the same tactics. Y a todos le picaron los ojos, and we got no Performing Arts Center. San Benito's building their Performing Arts Center. Los Fresnos has their Performing Arts Center. We did not produce to the community that which we promised we were going to use their tax dollars for. So the question is, where did those $53 million go? Where were the $185 million in the ESSER funds go? Where did the Elon money go? Where did it all go? And they keep on using it para tapar los hoyos that they make for themselves. And we have to pay for it, folks. We have to pay for it. Every single candidate out there, Kathy, every single candidate out there really was a kind of a disappointment. The only guy that I kind of liked was actually one of my opponents, Agustin. I mean, I thought he spoke from the heart. Maybe not aware of the complete picture out there, but I think he was being sincere. Everybody else is just grandstanding, Kathy.
You know what? They're so full of it. It's unbelievable. And let me tell you, and I know that the guy that's funding, the guy that's behind, Coach Farley, you know, I believe my one of the opponents,
Nelda.
Nelda, Minerva Peña, because Minerva Peña just, she's real close to Baltasar. She gets along with him very well. But I want to tell the public, hello, good morning, Miss Lamas. Um, you know, I want to tell the public, when I was on the school board, this attorney, Baltasar Salazar, this is how it works. When you don't have the right people that believe in the highest quality of service and they have high self-expectation and wants the best of the best. When this guy as an attorney, Baltasar Salazar, was hired, we received, and this is a perfect example, and I want the public to know, we received a total like about 7 proposals, requests for qualifications, RFQs. So the requests for qualifications were so we could go out there and hire a law firm that would be able to consult with us and tell us right from wrong. Okay. And don't do it, or this is going to get us in trouble, and so forth. So when we received those law firm proposals, this man, Baltasar Salazar, was, I believe he was a criminal lawyer. That's what his license stands for. Plus, he also had some bad background. He had a bad background. He had some, I believe he had made some checks to the state of Texas or something like that. I have the documentation there in my file. But with that said, he had scored a 59, and the other attorneys had scored, they had met all the requirements, experiences, school law. They had school law experience. They had everything that we needed in order for that attorney to be able to represent us. So what happened was that back then, one of our board members said, oh no, we need an attorney that's going to roll with what we want. We need an attorney that's going to do what we want, and he'll support what we want. Okay. So Ms. Lucy Longoria and myself, we did not vote for that individual, because when we saw the requirements and when we saw the what he was experienced with versus the other one, we had attorneys that scored over the required points because the law firms were school law attorneys. They represented school law and they knew school law. This guy, Baltasar Salazar, had no clue. So with taxpayers' dollars, we hired somebody that scored a 50. Okay. I thought we were playing golf here. When I got the scores, I said, oh, I thought is this a golf score or what is it? Because we know that when we hire somebody, they have to meet all the requirements, all of them. And so at the end of the day, they hired this guy and he was raking it. He was an attorney that was playing the political game. He was not fully representing the board members and the district like he should have. So now he's pumping in money. I want you to know he's pumping in money behind certain candidates so he can come back into the district. That's the game, guys. And if we don't pay attention and we don't stop this, because it can be stopped, it's all on the voters' choice. But if you guys do not pay attention and don't spread the word to what's going on, we are back in the same boat constantly. I am tired. And I know there's citizens that are tired. I cannot give up. I have to go out and exercise my vote because I care. And I'm doing this. I'm dedicating extra time because I care. Okay. So let me tell you, pay attention because there's people that are funding certain candidates and it's not good for us. It's not good. We are already in a lot of trouble. This district financially, we can go down and we can just continue to lose more students. And our teachers are being overworked and overwhelmed. And our taxes need to be spent wisely and appropriately. I believe everybody's tired. We've given up at times, but the time is now, guys. You have an opportunity this election to elect good people to be on the school board that will know what needs to get done. And I'm telling you, I humbly come and ask for your support because I know what I'm capable of doing and I know my level of expectation. And if I expect a lot of myself, I do that before I expect out of anybody else.
Well, Farley's receiving money from Baltasar Salazar. There's no doubt, absolutely no doubt, because Baltasar Salazar has been given the promise that he'll come back to the district. Also receiving money from the insurance people, receiving money from the tax people, the Purdue people. I mean, receiving money from all these entities, guys. And again, look, at the end of the day, and again, I love Tim Ramirez. I think he's a great guy. We are friends. We go to the same church and stuff. That's all great. He's not prepared to be on the board because these, as Ms. Lamas was saying, these are times when you need individuals in there that are actually going to fight for your tax dollars and actually going to ask the right questions. These individuals, I mean, can't answer the right questions if it's not given to them on a piece of paper by somebody else that's controlling them. And the only ones that are out there controlling them is are individuals that are going to be beholden to the individuals that have already put us in this hole. We are in a hole at BISD. We are in a major hole. And the individuals that have placed us in this hole, the individuals that have brought us here, are the same individuals that are funding candidates right now. Right now.
And I want the people to know, like Gutierrez, right? The superintendent Gutierrez, just in a 4-year grace span, 4 years, 4 years of his contract, he made $1.6 million. How about them apples? And then yet, when we want programs for our students, when we want things for our educators, there's no money. There's no money. Why? Because they will continue to do what's wrong and they don't understand the priorities. And they're just there either for a title, status quo, or, oh, no, guys, let's forget about that and let's start electing people that are humble, that are caring, that are loving, that are passionate, and that understand their obligation and their responsibilities once they get elected.
Husband is cool about the. I should never accept my friend's request.
I well, have you sent it? It's sometimes I don't even get on Facebook because I don't have time. But I send it to me, JD, and I'll accept you.
We have lost good teachers and staff. If all this crap in Glass House, 100%. Uh, we need to vote out the majority and vote in people that will actually do their job and get rid of people that shouldn't be holding high positions at BSC. Yes, and let me say this, guys. You need individuals that are going to go in there and on day one,
Knowing right away, no
yeah,
time to lose. You have to ask certain questions. You have to dissect the accounts. Remember, I want all of you to know, and Erasmo can attest to this. We receive money from the federal government, and we receive money from the local funds, and then we receive money from the state. We receive funding from 3 different entities, and we still don't have money to be able to do what we got to do. Mind you, the district functions on a $500 million budget. We have closed schools, we have closed schools, and yet what? Where are we at? Still struggling? Something's not right. They're either focusing on sending money somewhere else and spending our money somewhere else instead of giving it to our education system, literally going back into the schools and the students. Right now, there's no extra services for special ed, special
No,
needs students.
got it.
I'm going to tell you the issue that I'm having to struggle with right now. And I've gotten calls, and I'm not even on the board yet, but I'm always doing what I can to help and assist our communities, our citizens. If I can, I go out of my way and I help them and I guide them. Right now, we have a student that is in band and in PACE, and the student was told that he would be marching in the band, special ed, okay? And all of a sudden, he can't participate. He cannot participate. And this is something that the student enjoys doing. He enjoys being part of PACE band. He enjoys being part of the marching band. So I go and I ask the superintendent, and I did with the parent. You should have seen his reaction. It was like, we don't, no, this is what he says. We just need to accommodate him with the special needs in the class. That marching band is extracurricular, it's extra. We don't have to go above and beyond.
They don't care, Kathy.
So, right now, I'm going to tell you the district has I don't care attitude.
Yeah.
All these top level, your top level administration and some of the administrators are hindering our system. They're saying, what's going on? Pay attention to management, pay attention to your leadership. People leave management, they don't leave companies. Statistics show when you don't have good management, you don't have good leaders, they leave the individuals. It's not so much the company, it's not so much the entity. And that's what it is, guys. That is what we're facing right now. So when the superintendent told me and the parent that, oh no, and there's no money, we don't have to. That's extra. It's when we go above and beyond. Well, why not go above and beyond? So here you're complaining why students leave the district. Here you complain why all this is happening. Start paying attention.
Well,
Do your list, people.
what's unfortunate, Kathy, is and something that a lot of people don't realize. The case you just mentioned in regards to the PACE student, a special needs student, all that is going to bring this district are lawsuits. You know, and uh, and you were there, Kathy, when they went after you,
Oh,
and they use they have infinite funds to spend on lawyers and legal consultants out there, because one of the things that I never understood was why we were hiring so many legal consultants when we supposedly had one of the best board attorneys out there. Why did he have to have a cachet of different other law firms to do his job for him? It made absolutely no sense. One of the things that I brought into question, we were there, why are we paying this guy so much money, when he's, making us pay for other individuals to do his damn job? And it's unfortunate because, like, the Lucio case that's out there, guys. the- Again, the Lucios are out there fighting the district, and like the Lucios, they're they're paying for their own attorneys. The
and it's
district isn't.
wrong. It's wrong what they're doing. It's wrong.
It's wrong, and the district is using our money to pay for the attorneys. So ultimately, we're paying for it. We're all paying for it, and because BISD continues to have that "I don't care" mentality, me vale mentality, we get to pay for that. And every single time that the district has to go out there and defend a lawsuit against, like, the Lucios, a lawsuit like the one it's going to be a lawsuit, guys. It's going to be a lawsuit with what they're doing to the PACE student out there, the special needs student. We ultimately can't have funds to give teachers raises, to make our facilities a lot better, because we're taking from that to pay for their stupidity. And that's the fact of the matter. We have to stop it. We have to stop hiring all these consultants. We got to stop spending all this money on attorneys. We've got to stop spending all this money on defending stupidities like the Lucio case. And these are just two of the recent one, guys. Think of how many other lawsuits the district gets because they just don't care. It doesn't matter to them. Tim is not a smart man. Only does what they tell him to do. That's unfortunate. You don't need board members out there that are going to be on the speed dial list of vendors and individuals that put money in their pocket. It's just that simple, guys. And we have an opportunity is to correct that. The community has an opportunity. So I'm hoping individuals start to wake up and start to realize that candidates like that receive these monies from vendors like Farley does and stuff, guys, they're not going to go out there and do what you want them to do. They're going to go out there and do what the vendors, what's in the best interest of the vendors, and that's what's unfortunate. Hey, Lolita, how's it going?
And you know what? It's, I tell people, when we are having to challenge, we waste our good energy, to try to resolve the issues. And it's so unfortunate because, like this year, for example, and I'm a grandmother. I have my granddaughter. She's a 4-year old and she's in BISD. I'm a firm believer for BISD public school system. I believe, um, education is extremely important in every city, in every county that sits in our country. Unfortunately, right now our district, it has been paying superintendents a salary that I myself, if I would have been on the board, I wouldn't have never approved it. It's insane. It's a shame that one person that sits behind the desk and finds himself in a financial distress of budget, okay, because that person, I want you all to know, it's your board members on the top, and then it's your superintendent, and then the superintendent needs help, so he hires all this extra area assistant superintendents, right, to help him out because he's got to delegate, okay. So but yet he's the commander in chief. He's the one that needs to guide every single individual. He's the one that needs to be compassionate. He's the one that needs to care. He's the one that needs to have solutions to our problems because he's the one that's making the big bucks. As a board, we ask what we need in our system. We tell them this is going on out there. This has got to stop. How are you going to correct it? And bring us back the solutions. Bring us back the solutions because that's the only way how we're going to get from point A to point B and better the system. Yes, there's a lot of voting apathy. Um, I feel that way myself sometimes, but because I was raised by a military father, he always says we don't give up and we continue to push forward and we continue to make sure that we exercise our vote to make sure that we have the right representation. And the lawsuits are because the lack of good administration that don't want to abide by policies and procedures, or just simply they're not sympathetic with the situation of the issues and they don't want to problem solve, or they just don't have that type of character that they can solve problems. That's the bottom line.
What's unfortunate? So I think Janet mentioned Porter right now in regards to the multiple donations that Porter's getting. Let me tell you guys, Porter is about to indulge in an investigation right now for missing monies. And it's always the constant, guys. Missing monies at Burns, missing monies at Manzano, missing monies here, missing monies everywhere, guys, because they follow the example of upper administration, guys. They think if they're out there, making a buck here and there, we should be able to make a buck here and there. Let me tell you, Porter, there's individuals at Porter that are under investigation for missing monies. And look, guys, the more that administrators, and individuals that are corrupt take the money from you, the taxpayer, from you, the fundraisers for the children, all this stuff, the less money that we're going to have to spend on things that are really, really important. And we deserve a lot better. And it's unfortunate. And I found out about the Porter missing money this weekend, I was asked, to hold back a little bit because it was under investigation, and I said that's fine. We'll wait a little bit until we get a little bit more information out there. But it's upsetting that we are put in this place by the same individuals that Kasi mentioned are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year because they're not doing their job. And nobody wants to hold them accountable. We don't have a board that holds these individuals accountable. They what they do is they decide to move them from one school to another school in order to keep it hush hush, and that is a disservice to this community. It's unfortunate. We pay out millions. Perfect example. Ombudsman. Now BISD is creating an internal position again, funded by tax dollars, and we will pay this individual to back up administration, and we know how they work. Exactamente. Something that Terry just mentioned is we know how they work. These candidates that are running for office right now, they have no answer, no solutions. They don't know. They're fish out of water, and they are going to be eaten up by the big fish that are the vendors, the attorneys, the folks that are contractors, the folks that are most indebted to the decisions that are being made by this corrupt board. I live here and active here, unfortunate. Keep Carlos and vote the rest out. This superintendent requested suggestions from his cabinet for cost cutting measures. One brave soul said, lower the superintendent's salary. He arrogantly stated, delete this suggestion. Pues sí. I'm sure I'd like to know who that individual was actually. I'm already worth more than what I'm getting paid. Not like the missing performing arts center. Exactly, Lolita. It's been so many years and we never got it. Unfortunately, they just move them around and nothing changes, and they keep making the higher dollar. Exactamente. And the reason that they try to keep it under the rug is because everyone out there has a right to go out there and file a lawsuit, and the reason they keep it hush hush and hidden is because they don't want to pay more money on these attorney fees and these court costs. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in that position in the first place, because if you go out there and do the right thing, you're not don't have to worry about lawsuits. You don't have to worry about missing funds. You don't have to worry about any of this crap. Unfortunately for us, we don't, because we're spending all this money on consultants, on attorneys, and we're giving it back to the vendors that ultimately put money in vendors' pockets. Why did the Hardin superintendent resign? He received a 10,000 pay raise. I'm not sure of the details of what happened with this Hardin superintendent. He was supposed he was a good superintendent.
In McAllen, in
in,
McAllen,
in
where
McAllen.
they had him right, they were watching him constantly. You see, your board is not going to micromanage or manage the district, but your board is supposed to be asking the hard questions. Your board is supposed to make sure that any policy that is not in place, that can protect the employees, that can protect the district, is in place. Anything that needs to be changed, that gets changed for the right purpose. And unfortunately, there's policies and procedures and they don't follow them, or they change them to circumvent themselves. That's what it is. If there's a policy and there's a procedure in the corporate world, it is what it is. They're not going to change it just because of one person. They're going to abide by it, regardless of how they feel. They're going to abide by it. And we don't abide by policies and procedures in BISD. It's the I know I know this person and that person gets away. It's okay because that's my buddy. We're not going to discipline them. And that's the problem. When that happens, that's why there's no order. There's no discipline really taken seriously there, and that's why everything happens. Money missing here, money missing there. If it's done by the by the top administration, that they spend money inappropriately or they don't care, because that's what happens. It all goes down to the campuses, and well, they don't do anything at the very top. So why not do it? We can do it. It's going to be okay.
Look, it's very simple, guys. And everyone has a choice this November. And let me say, I think El Tucker was going out there saying, "No, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote." You're part of the problem. If you don't go out there and vote for the individuals that are going to help you out, then the individuals that are really going to help you out, don't stand a chance against the machine. Let me tell you, my opponent Farley, he's got signs everywhere. I mean, started putting up signs, I think, last year. Signs everywhere, guys. Got a billboard. Those things are expensive. I mean, those things cost you like $3,000 to $4,000 a month. You really think that Farley's going to be out there spending that money on there? He's not. It's being paid by vendors. And that's the problem, folks. You've got individuals on there that are running for this board that are being funded by those same individuals that put us in this crap to begin with, guys. You don't need a board member like that. You gotta have board members out there that are going to go out there and tell you the truth. It's unfortunate, guys. It's unfortunate. And someone mentioned Daniela, being supported by down by the border and by Sophie and by I think someone said Miss Mendiola. It's unfortunate, guys, because they want to keep the same people in place that have placed us in this situation. Um, when are the first campaign finance reports due? I'm going to think it's going to be very soon. Let me tell you, I'm hoping that a lot of individuals go out there and are surprised by it. And I say that because, again, a friend of mine out there has a big old Farley sign on her property. And I sent her a message and I said, what are you doing? Again, we were friends. And that's fine. Because to me, you're not a friend anymore. If you're out there supporting the individual that has placed us in this predicament. And the friend is Maggie. Maggie has a big old sign. And again, I don't care. Has a big old sign of Farley's on her property. And I sent her a message and I said, are you really serious? I mean, because Maggie goes out there and starts bitching about everything that's going wrong with BISD, with while supporting a candidate that is only going to be a part of the same system that has screwed us over. Guys, Susan has run a campaign. I have run a campaign. Kathy has run a campaign. All three of us have funded our own campaigns. We have funded our own campaigns, guys. Farley is not. I'm sorry, guys. A big old billboard on Alton Glore, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be another one on the expressway and another one somewhere else. Guys, you're paying for this. They are part of the same corrupt system that has put us in this hole. So de qué le sirve a Maggie go out there and bitch about, oh, there's teacher salaries. De qué le sirve a Maggie go out there and bitch, the air conditioners. And she was right about the air conditioners. But then she's out there supporting the same system that screwed us over in the first place, that have put us in a $26 million deficit. It's stupid. Stupidity at its finest. And let me tell you, anyone out there, I'm sorry, my friends, anyone out there supporting Farley who is being funneled all this money to be a board member that is going to be indebted to the vendors and contractors and all this, are you stupid? Who has been the most corrupt superintendent in BISD? Well, that's a good question. Uh, I'm going to say that every single superintendent out there that has been a part of putting us in this $26 million hole, we were I think $7 to $14 million in the hole with insurance, staff insurance, that ultimately a lot of the ESSER funds, were redirected that way. ESSER funds were not to cover up holes, folks. ESSER funds were there to help the district out because of the loss that we received because of COVID and because of the failed system that places in the same position. Have seen that a lot of money spent there, even out there going to Olmito, everywhere, guys, everywhere. Who's paying for those signs? Ultimately, the community is. You and I are. It's not Farley. Farley's not out there paying for his signs. He called me the other day, sent me a message bitching about, well, I think you took one of my signs down. I said, bitch, I didn't take your signs down. The owners of the property where you put them without permission took your sign down. Well, those were my posts. I don't give a rat's ass about your damn post. I'll buy you 2 damn posts if you want, mendigo chillon. Because nomás para eso sirven. I mean, he didn't even pay for those posts. Vendors did. Imbéciles. What position you running for? Please remind us. Place 7. Got these running for place 5. Place 5. I'm gonna get a cut of swaying the vote. I don't think that. I don't think that that's an actual statement. I don't think that Maggie is receiving a cut. I think that she's just naive. You know, se deja llevar, and it's unfortunate because ultimately you're going out there and supporting a candidate that is part of the system that put us in this hole, that wants to bring Baltasar Salazar back. I mean, goodness gracious, and that's what's really disappointing. But part of the problem is, Kathy, these candidates don't understand. They'll accept money from Baltasar Salazar. They don't understand the harm that man and the politicians, brought upon this community, not just the district, this community, folks. And that's what's unfortunate.
Look, I'm going to share with you briefly. When I ran, when Miss Laura Perez Reyes ran for her county position, we had a conversation, and she realized that this individual, right, Baltasar Salazar, his behavior is the worst that you can do.
Grotesque.
It is, he's very disrespectful, he doesn't care, and I wish he would have had the pants to sit in front of me and to admit and accept that he was the one that was part of paying all that garbage that went around throughout the mail and said that I had stolen from the kids, that I had done this. It was a lie. It was a lie. That man is nothing but a thief, a crook. He's corrupt, and he plays the game, the dirty game, with the politicians that he pumps money into, so you all can be deceived, see a pretty face on the billboard, and say, he's the candidate. Do not fall into that. This district cannot afford to have weak leaders, unknowledgeable leaders, and people that are going to sell themselves to a vendor that is desperate to come back in to the district just to take our taxpayers' dollars, because he will hire other attorneys because he can't do the job. That's how bad it is. And let's go back to when it was Bestedo and Aiken Elementary that we were having trouble with. He was the attorney that was supposed to be representing our district and helping our district. And he has taken us for a ride every chance he has gotten. So if those board members get elected, beware, because we're not going to be in good shape. We're going to be in serious issues. And if you guys are complaining about your tax rate going up, because board members are the ones that vote on your tax rate, how much are they going to charge you for your tax property based on assessed value? Of course, the values are up, and you can either have a high value in your property or a high tax rate. You cannot have both, because it's killing us. And let me tell you, citizens of this community, please pay attention. Please focus on the right candidates, and you can have a good team. I believe that there's good people out there that can come together and can do what needs to get done. I'm telling you. I mean, I tell people, if I'm giving the opportunity, it's going to be great for all of us, because I care and because I understand. I've been there already. I know what questions to ask. And I know where we need to look at. I understand the accounts that they have. They have federal accounts, they have state accounts, and they have local accounts. Where is the money going to?
Ciro Benefit Realty, Daniela, Jessica, and Tim. No, we cannot bring anyone out there that is currently sitting on this board. We need change, desperate change. And let me say, I said this at the meeting, at the forum, and I'll say this again. I've said it before. It is unfortunate that not one single incumbent was there present.
Oh, no, no.
Not one single incumbent.
But what does that tell you? I mean, me personally, as a citizen, if you're an incumbent, you go and you answer the questions, regardless whether you have the hot potato or not. You do what you got to do and stand up for what we deserve. And we deserve respect as citizens. If you've been the leader and you've made wrong decisions, own it. Own it. Because good leaders will own what they have done. And so what does that tell you? It's like when they don't get reelected, when they don't get reelected, they don't even go back and thank the people and say thank you for the opportunity. No, some of them don't even show up the day that they're gonna swear in the new members because they don't have the guts to face the challenges. You know what? I believe that we deserve as citizens the respect because we are tired of all the bureaucratic BS that's out there. Enough is enough. And it's always the same group, the same group, the same group. Stop electing people that either have mom and dad or they have a buddy already in the system because they're at the county or because they're in the city. Stop. Stop. Please stop electing people that we don't deserve, that can't make our decisions. I'm tired. I'm tired of people that take advantage of our tax dollars.
We actually we have reported it to TEA. I personally walked my pretty little behind into TEA's office in Austin, Texas, a couple of times actually. The problem is that it's all part of the basically the same system, and there's just so much red tape out there that they
And then
never.
they'll tell you wait for the next election, just make sure that you get good candidates and remove those, and then the people don't pay attention or the people don't talk about it. I'm going to ask all of you, talk to your family, talk to your friends, let them know it's important. Every election is important, not only BIS, but every election is important. Let's elect the right people. Let's elect people that care. Let's elect people that will truly be able to represent us.
Is the federal government auditing how federal funds that BISD is spending? They have again. You're talking about a federal agency out there, a big old federal agency that ultimately takes years to take action. And I'll give you one example, Wilson. Sylvia Atkinson, got busted for stealing $10,000 or accepting a bribe of $10,000 of federal of monies that were ultimately going to be spent on federal funds, and they did a quick little investigation on it. It took them 6 years, 6 years to bring her to justice. 6 years. What damage can individuals like the current board that we have right now, uh, the candidates that are running that are being funded by the same system, how many years? How many years is going to take? To finally have the federal government expose them or bring them to trial, to justice. How much damage can they do in that time? And think of it: how much damage has this current board done in just these past 4 years? How much damage have they done? They put us in a $26 million hole that we were not in. $26 million hole. They gutted employee benefits. They've
They removed a lot of benefits from the employees,
removed a lot,
from
gutted,
educators.
yeah,
Hmm.
gutted,
We had
gutted the
placed
resources.
we had placed some of them. We had placed them in the past, and then here we have some people that don't know any better, or just because a superintendent that they're paying $400,000 says, "Oh, let's do this," and the board members say, "Yeah, let's do it," because they don't know. They don't know what they're doing. You have a lot of people on that board right now that I don't know how they got elected. I know I didn't vote for them. I know I didn't. And that's why I hold them accountable. That's why I hold them accountable. I make sure that I can go back and let them know how I feel about their leadership. And some of these people are worthless. They're beyond worthless. They shouldn't be there. I don't know who died and told them that they could be board members. Honestly, I don't.
Past
It takes
crucial,
a lot.
past crucial service to students. Why aren't you talking about it? Claim this board created deficit. Please explain. Deficit was already there. The district started 10,000 employees, retired, resigned. No, the
Scott.
deficit. Yeah, I'm sorry, Hope. The deficit came during these past 4 years, despite the fact, Hope, that the district received millions and millions of dollars. Where are the ESSER funds? $185 million. Where's the Elon Musk money? I think it was like $12 million. Where did that money go? And it was all spent. It was all diverted in these past 4 years. That's what's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and the morale of our
Oh,
staff
it's its worst.
has gone to crap. I have never seen it, go into a nosedive as bad as it has been in these past 4 years. And to every single individual out there that that was felt that they were forced to retire, had to leave the district early, take into account. Please don't
It-
vote for any incumbent. Please don't go out there and vote for the same individuals that have placed us in this hole.
I'm going to touch on that point. Somebody said, oh, this deficit has been for years. That's a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. And the district, you can talk to teachers right now. They're burned out. It's not even a month yet, or it's going to be a month. They're already burned out. They're in a stage of distress. Some of them, they have the love and passion to educate because they know that by educating our community, that's our future, guys. That's our future. And for those of you that would like to sit down and talk to us, I'm an open book. You can invite me to have lunch with you. You can invite me to, and you don't have to pay. I'll pay your lunch. I'm not one of those board members that's going to ask you to pay for me. I will have the courtesy of paying for you and pay for my lunch. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about the real issues out there and stop bringing in things that aren't the facts. Let me tell you, this district has plunged in the
Plunge,
past 5 years. It's plunged
plunged.
very quickly. When I was on the board, we have a total of close to 51,000 students on the BIS.
52.
That's how many we had, guys. Do the math. Since 2016, that's been 7 years, going on 8 years.
52,000
And
students.
now we're what, 37?
I think it's closer to 32, but yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. Let's not think too hard on this. And this about, if you care about it, the education system in our community, education breaks poverty. That will get us out of poverty. Every child that has the drive and the desire to be in some career out there, that has a dream of being a police officer, that would love to be a nurse, that would love to be a doctor, there's opportunities out there for them, but we're taking them away. Our system has been diminishing on the programs that we have. And then they ask, well, why are we losing students? Excuse me. First of all, management. That's a downfall. The leadership. That's
Administration,
another downfall.
higher administration. It's just,
I mean, come on, guys.
guys, to lose
Let's have an open mind here, and let's realistically, what is the problem? What is the problem?
to all teachers out there, all staff, all principals out there, assistant principals, counselors, guys, take into consideration we've lost 20,000 students in the past 7 years. 20,000 students. That's a decrease in the funds that we receive, guys. A decrease in the funds that we receive. So ultimately, it's a decrease in the monies that could be allotted to your raises, to making your classrooms better, to supporting all these amazing initiatives and programs that you all spend hours, countless hours that you're not even paid for after school and on the weekends. I mean, these amazing programs, guys, will continue to go to crap because we're losing students, we're losing funds. They're putting us in holes that should not be there. What Gatti says is right. It's not true, guys. We've never seen this deficit, guys, ever. These amount of lack of funds ever in the district, guys. This happened in the past 6 years, guys. They put us in a hole, despite the fact that they received millions upon millions of dollars from the federal government and from private industry. That should
And
tell you something.
yeah, and let me tell you another thing. Have you guys? I mean, apparently the education system is struggling. I went to Taco Bell, and they asked me that if I would put my pennies or my whatever was left, my change, into the education fund. I was like, okay, so now our local corporate companies are now, you know, also helping out. So we get all the help. You think these people are going to want to help us in the future if they know that we don't have a system that has it together and that's doing what's right? They're going to give up just like we're trying to give up. But don't give up. I want to tell you all that in case you didn't know, the superintendent currently was retired. Am I correct, Erasmo? He was a retired individual,
Yes.
retired superintendent. So when this beautiful board, right, that you have right now, the beautiful board currently They decided, oh, we want him. We need this superintendent. He's the best of the best. I guess that's what they thought, right? They didn't see beyond. But anyway, so they bring him out of retirement. And those people that are out there that know, like my husband, who worked 37 years for the school district, he couldn't go come back until after a certain grace period. Because if he did, he would have to pay a penalty to come back to the system, right? Well,
Right.
guess what your beautiful group of board members currently did? They brought him out of retirement, and guess who paid for the retirement fee? Guess who paid for the retirement fee to bring him back out of retirement?
We did.
But there's no money. There's no money for the chess. There's no money for the band student to have an aide to go with him on the bus at Pace High School so he can participate on the band. But yet we have the money to bring somebody out of retirement and pay for the retirement fee
It's
to get
crazy.
him out of retirement.
And again, all these monies that we should not be spending, all these monies that we're spending on consultants, on vendors, on contractors, all these monies are funds that should be going to you, teachers, staff, principals, assistant principals, counselors. These monies should be going to you, to our students, guys. And I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I don't think Farley's a bad guy. I mean, it just sucks that he's being supported by the same individuals that put us in this hole. I don't think Tim's a bad guy. I love Tim. Tim is a very very good friend of mine. Not prepared to get down and dirty, get down in the nitty gritty, get down and go out there and kick them in the ass. It's not prepared. And Agustin, a great individual. I love Agustin. I liked his performance at the forum. A great, great guy. But there were two individuals that really stood out at the forum, and that was Erasmo Castro and Katy Presas. It's just that simple, guys. They stood out at the forum because we know what we're talking about. We don't have to read it off a little piece of paper that other board members prepared for us, the vendors prepared for us. We know the issues. We have the solutions. Hold administration accountable because ultimately that is our number one job. Hold administration, hold their
Accountable,
feet to the fire, hold them accountable, and make them do their job.
John. Mr. Superintendent, I mean, you're making a lot of money. The last one, Mr. Gutierrez, was I don't know in what was the board smoking or what were they taking? Because as a citizen, when I heard that that's what they were going to pay him, I was like, well, I hope he's going to the campuses and substituting. I hope he's sitting behind a desk and I hope he can go through all the paperwork that's required so he can review and make sure that he's got every knowledge that is needed and required. I hope that he's checking our accounts daily, what's being spent, what's not being spent. I hope he has a 5-year plan and make sure that we have those AC units in a 5-year plan, that what's priority, what's going to be taken care of right now and what's going to be taken care of then, and prioritize the needs of the district. I don't see it happening, guys. Not right now. Not right
Look,
now.
and look, folks, what Kati just said. Have you seen this administration's 5-year plan? Have you? And again, why not? Why hasn't it been produced? Where's the superintendents and the administrations at evaluations? Why have they stopped questioning them after every single meeting out there? Demanding to know what the superintendent and the upper administration have done for this community. And I'm talking about this is a systematic problem that has been happening in the past 4 6 years. We have received no goals. They have no goals. We don't know where they're going. And
No direction. There's no direction anywhere.
nothing,
It's just, oh, let's just go to work and that's it, without a plan. There's no
nothing.
plan, no direction, nothing, nothing,
And
nothing. This district is falling apart. For Lolita, who was asking where can you see the forum, it's under, I believe they have it on YouTube, AOBE, under
and
AOBE.
and you can find a quick link on my page. A quick
Oh, you
link.
have it on the link?
Yeah, I put it up there a couple of times. You can find it on my page. Go out there and look to teachers out there. Teachers, what happens if if after a week you haven't produced lesson plans?
Oh,
What happens? Honestly, teachers, what happens? You get written up as the possible termination. If you produce no lesson plans, in a month, you're going to be held accountable. Why haven't we seen the upper administration's lesson plans? And why hasn't the board, who's supposed to oversee administration, why haven't they held them accountable to it? We've got nothing. It's just that simple. Got nothing. And you really think that individuals, that candidates that are part of now, become a part of this corrupt, failed system, you think they're going to do a better job? They're not. I'm doing what I can, and more so now that I've time post retirement, and I'm no longer intimidated by retaliation. Thank God. Sad part is that people bitch about it, but don't vote. Have to come out and vote.
Let's go vote.
Majority deserves to stay. They have stood their ground despite the bullying. That's what I see myself voting for you. But are you ready to lose your friend, or will you become a follower? Um, the majority currently now does not deserve to stay. No incumbent should
They,
come back.
they must they must love for us to pay our superintendents 400 and some thousand without them having to do their job like they're supposed to. What a shame that that's what we have to see, and that's part of the problem in our community. Open your eyes, pay attention, see what's really going on, so you can realize why we can't afford to bring those 4, 5 back.
Let me tell you.
Pay attention, guys.
Uh,
Listen,
just
listen.
just to say this, Hope. My only friend is the community as a whole. I have no friends that I'm going to be beholden to. I'm not going to cover for anyone. No voy a picar los ojos a la comunidad para salvar a mis amigos. That's why I mostly hang by myself. I have no friends.
The audacity of people to deceive, to lie, to be a farce. Oh, they sit there that, oh, like they know it all. Because if you knew it, our district, our business wouldn't be in the situation that we're in. I am so sorry that people feel that way.
I invite Nelda Farley and Sir Anduisa. Should they not win this cycle to participate anyway? Well, that's a good point. Where have they been? Have they been vocal? Have you ever heard from Farley before? And something that Mr. Anduisa, and again, I like Mr. Anduisa. I think
He,
out of
he, he's familiar. I mean, and let me share this with everybody. The only people that didn't have notes was Erasmo, Mr. Anduisa, Mr. Caballero, Minerva, and myself. Everybody else was reading off of their notes. Literally.
yes,
The only ones that we didn't have notes, that it came from us, the knowledge and our feeling and how we felt about representing and introducing ourselves and answering the questions, it was Mr. Caballero, it was Erasmo, it was Mr. Anduisa, it was Minerva, and myself. It was 5 of us.
and that's it.
That's
And
it. The rest, they needed a piece of paper.
yeah, it's unfortunate. And again, I like Mr. Anduisa. Again, I liked I liked a lot of his answers. And one of the things that I think is so impressive was that he had to be cut off because
Yeah.
como que quería hablar más y más y más, pobrecito. But he respected the time limits. He got cut off many times. A lot of these candidates that were out there reading their notes, like Farley and the stuff, after they finished their talking points, they gave up their time. And that should say something, guys. Because let me tell you, if you give me 2 minutes to speak, I'm going to use every little second out there, guys, to go out there and tell the community the truth and the facts of the matter. And the facts of the matter that the district has never seen itself as bad as is right now. Never. I mean, we've lost some 20,000 students, guys. There's money that has been misplaced and lost, that is gone. We got vendors making a killing out there, guys. And it's unfortunate. It really is really, really unfortunate because at the end of the day, and again to teachers and to staff, at the end of the day, you go out there almost every day, guys. I hear it all the time. You bitch about your salary. You bitch about your salary, and you have every right to bitch about your salary. But a lot of you are still supporting the same candidates that have put us in this mess where there are no monies out there, guys. And look, some folks even had the audacity to say that, we're going to take from the general fund, and they've taken from the general fund already. And let me tell you guys, we need that money in the bank. We need that money for a real emergency, not an emergency that these same board members or these past administration in the past 6 years have put us in. That's what's unfortunate.
I just got a really bad video. One of our high schools, the roof is massively leaking. Like they have trash cans around. That that is so sad. That is so sad. Not only ACs, but now our roofs are. What does anybody know what really is going on there? I mean, you have 72% of salary. It goes into salary, 72% of the budget. Then you have your maintenance and operations. Your maintenance and operations are the ones where they're out there in the campuses. Year by year, they have to be budgeting for the repairs that are needed. We all know that those repairs, maintenance is required. I no, no, no. Thank you.
Uh, thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, Vanessa. The incumbents not showing up for the forum is an absolute disgrace and lack of respect to the constituency of Brownsville as a whole. Are BIC administrators and their financial advisors going to be dismissed to replace immediately? I'm sure there is a code of conduct that can be signed. Let me say one thing, Wilson, and I like this question. Let me say one thing. We don't want to be giving out golden parachutes to anyone, because at the end of the day, there is no documentation, guys. Because the board for the past six years have not done their job, have not held the upper administration's feet to the fire. So there's no documentation. Can't afford, guys.
And that the way it works, I want to tell Mr. Wilson, the way it works is we are supposed to work very closely with the superintendent. And we ask him, sir, can you give us a review of the financial report completely? I want federal funds, I want state funds, and I want local funds. I want every account that has had expenditures. I want you to explain what has happened and how are we going to correct the problem. We ask the superintendent to bring us solutions, to bring us what is needed and what is required so this district can function the way it should be functioning, like a business. Okay, we're not here to fire or terminate. No, 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 no. That's not our job. Our job is to set expectation. Our job is to create policies and procedures. Our job is to make sure that we can continue to have the district run the way it's supposed to be running, and that the funds are going into the classrooms, that the funding is going into teacher salaries and staff, support staff salaries, that our funding is going into the students programs that allow them to continue to grow and develop in the necessary areas if it's needed as extra help, like your after school tutorial, like your accelerated reading, all these programs that are out there. So if you elect people that don't understand, then guess what? We're out of luck here. We're going to go into that continuous cycle.
Uh, and Sylvia Atkinson name does come up because she is indicative of one of the biggest issues that a BISD have. Actually, I think the biggest issue. And she got thrown in jail for it. But do I think she's the only board member out there that takes money from vendors? No, of course not. Hope. I've said it. I've said it that previous boards and even the candidates that are running right now, Hope, are taking money from vendors, taking money away from you because every single time
Look,
that vendors
let's put it on
deposit,
record.
every
Sorry.
single time that vendors deposit money into candidates, guys, it's money that is ultimately going to be paid back by
Sorry.
you, the taxpayer, and teachers, staff, principals, counselors, assistant principals. It's, it's money that's being taken away from our students, from special education, guys. And again, I said it at the meeting, guys. I've said it here several times. Special education is being gutted. Gutted.
And that program is really necessary in our district. You know that BISD is the one that's qualified to have special ed, special needs students. We have districts that bring their students here. I mean, there's a lot of things that I believe that people aren't really paying attention to. And don't vote for people just because they're your buddy. Don't vote for them just because they're related to you. And I've said that. Vote for me, vote for the individual that has the guts, has what it takes, has the knowledge to be able to move the district in the right direction. This district has lost its value. We used to be the envy of the entire Rio Grande Valley. Everybody wished to be like BISD and wanted and desired to be like a BISD. And guess what? We've they've drained it. It hasn't been the district that it was, and it's unfortunate. It all boils down to your leadership. At the
It
end
does.
of the day, it boils down to your. But take the names. Look, I challenge them, Erasmo. If they don't elect the right people, I challenge you. You'll see that attorney back into the BISD, and he's going to be milking it just like he did a while back. He's having problems in San Benito. What makes you think that we're not going to have the same problems we had a while back with him here? Vote for those things. Vote for those individuals, and believe me, it's going to come back and bite us.
Yeah, guys. And again, we don't need candidates that are going to be beholden to other board members. We don't need candidates that are going to be beholden to vendors, contractors, and lawyers. We need board members, guys, candidates for board members that are going to be beholden to you, the citizens, and the children. And I'm sorry, again, and I know that Farley is liked by a lot of people. Something that Kati just said, guys, I don't care if you like him. You can't afford him because he's already been bought, paid for by the same individuals that have put this community in a hole. And ultimately, unfortunately, is they are going to continue to put us in a hole because let me tell you, if this bond is passed, community screwed. Don't you think that we're being taxed enough already?
Mm.
My God. We are not against these candidates as individuals. We just need experience right now. Again, yes, individuals that, and again, this is where like people like Maggie are so stupid. They've got these little visors, these horse visors, where they see nomás this one direction. Individuals like Kathy and myself, we know the whole picture. We know the wheelings and dealings from behind the closed doors. We've been there. We've seen it. We've hated it. We fought against it. We were retaliated for it. They came at us with everything they had, but we're still here.
We're still standing.
We're still standing. We're still
We still
fighting the
stand.
system, and we'll continue to fight the system. We have no time to waste. We are on DEFCON 50. How did this board put the district in a hole if they came in right when COVID happened? Who was on the board in 2018? Again, Hope. We received millions of dollars in order to cover up that hole that COVID caused. Millions. I would blatantly say close to a quarter of $1 billion. 185 million from ESSER funds, another 12 million from private industry, Elon Musk, and other entities out there. I would easily say a quarter of $1 billion. And you still want to ask how they placed us in this hole? Where did that money go?
You
Why are
know,
they why are they so adamant
adamant.
about not voting for an audit to see where your money went? They voted against it. I mean, it just happened last week.
I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell the public, and then we could go on and on and on. Um, Let me tell you, Ms. Presas, he, Rene did not, and neither does Jesus. Okay, so
Superintendent.
let me tell you, behind certain board members, you have people that are behind those board members. Let's say other politicians that have interest. You have other politicians in the county, you have other politicians in the city that they want certain board members on the board. Because remember, they will lure them to be, if they're weak minded and they're easy to manipulate, which I am not, and I don't think Erasmo is easy to manipulate either. They won't take me for a ride. But let me tell you what happens. These people that are already elected in other positions, they want other leaders in the district. There's so much money in the district that goes through that for them it's easy to go and get a contract and make some backdoor deals. It does exist, guys. It exists. And it's happening, guys. All that money that came in during COVID, let's not be whining. Let's not. How are we going to fix that? And how are we going to solve it? And how are we going to get the answers? If
100%.
you ask me, Ms. Presas, do you want an audit? Absolutely. I want to know where every penny went and why are we in this situation, regardless, regardless of who was on the board. And Erasmo, who was on the board in 2019 or who has been on the board? Eddie Garcia, who's running for your tax assessor collector, right? And he's against the audit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so who else has been on the board since 2019? The board president, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's Miss Gonzalez. Now, who else? Daniela,
Daniela.
the one that I'm, the incumbent that I'm running against, right? And then who else? The Denise. Denise and Daniela are related, guys. By the way, you have two individuals there that are very close. So how do you think they're going to continue to vote? They will always vote together. Regardless, they're always going to support each other. They're not going to go against each other. Denise and Daniela are very close. And their votes are always going to stand together. So we don't start paying attention to what's going on and who's making the decisions for our tax dollars and who's putting the burden on our tax dollars that we all work so hard for. Guess what? I'm tired. I am not going to sit back and do nothing about it. That's why I decided to throw in my name, guys. That's the only reason why, because I know that I am capable of making the decisions that are required in order for us to sustain this district in the best financial stability that we need. And that our education money goes into the classrooms as needed as salaries. And again, for our students. Now, when I start hearing that special ed needs program starts being cut because there's no money, we have a serious problem.
Serious problem.
Those students receive federal funds.
Yes.
We receive federal money for those students, and yet we're taking away their rights. Just like that student that's in band for Pace High School. What's going on, guys? We have a serious problem, and that's why we're here.
Tim, no, Susan Arca for the people. Tim needs a shower. He smells so bad at the forum, is what I heard. Breathe too. Sorry. But someone's, let me tell you, there was a lot of people that were stinking on that at that forum. I was surprised. A lot of people that did not smell too good, and it's unfortunate. I think I meet Miss Kati. Yes, I'm going to start posing the names of teachers to see supporting the rats. Go for it. Well, we know who's giving them money. Hopefully, I'm not sure exactly sure what date the
I,
financial statement.
I think the financial report is due, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right before October, right before Election Day.
So we'll have an idea. Hopefully, by then, a lot of individuals haven't committed to these ratas. And Mendiola are part of the problem. They support Daniela. Anyone that supports these ratas, these individuals that have continuously gutted the system, este, need to be not voted for. Uh, Need not our support. Teachers list started. Gonna call them out. Good job. Audit them all. I thought relatives could work together because back in the days they were cousins. One had to leave the board, so one went to CSC to be president there. Um, yeah, it's unfortunate, but again,
You elected them. We elected. They were elected.
exactamente.
And it's unfortunate, but we take it from here, guys. Let's do what's best. Let's start getting on the phone. Let's start talking to friends. Let's start talking to family. We can get the right group in the board. The board needs a good group on there starting 2024. Believe it
100%.
or not, the district cannot afford another hit,
No,
and we're losing students. I just spoke to somebody, and she took three of her children. She's got four. She only left one. She left one in Hannah High School. The rest, Two of them are going to San Benito, Rising Stars,
San
and the other
Benito.
one's going to South Texas ISD. Can you imagine? I asked her why, and you don't want to hear what she said about BISD. It hurt me. I told her you're wrong, and she says no. I have the right to take my children to the best and the highest quality of education system that's out there.
San Benito is benefiting from our bleed.
Yes,
Fresno's is benefiting from our need. South Texas ISD is benefiting from our
we're
need.
bleeding. We're bleeding, and they're going to other schools because we're not paying attention. And there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of factors, and we can talk about this. We can continue with another program later on during the week or next week. But guys, the time is now. I unfortunately came in at the last minute. I signed up 30 minutes before the deadline. 30 minutes, that's how long it took me to be able to make a decision if it was going to be the best decision for me and for the community that I was going to serve. And my family didn't want for me to do it. I talked to them. I asked them to please accept my desire. And they said, you said you weren't going to do it again, but I really care, and I really want to make a difference.
We need something different because what we've had has not been working. Kathy, thanks for coming on today.
Oh no, my pleasure.
Great
Thank
job,
you guys.
guys. Guys,
Stay
again,
safe.
go listen to the forum. It's on my page. I put the link up twice. I'm going to share it again so it'll be on the top feed. Please go look at the forum. The forum speaks for itself, and it's very, very evident. Castro will be calling you later to got the info so I can contact her. My granddaughter going to Mito ISD. Wow, it's a good school. BISD has great staff, great programs, guys. They've just been abused, used by this administration, these administrations that we've had, and these board members. And it's got to stop because ultimately the buck stops with the board because the board needs to be holding administration accountable. They have not. They consider themselves a team of eight. Guys, have a great day. Be good to each other. Be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Be good to each other. Continue to me. God bless.
Stay safe.
Now you got the
Drive safe. Bye.